Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Ginger and Chocolate Podcast. I'm your co host, Mike, along with Lindsay. Lindsay,
Hel-
how are you?
Hello. I'm doing well. For once, I have to report that I'm not tired when we're recording. So
Yeah.
it's a win.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
win for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good too. A little, uh, I'm a little recovering from a kickball injury. So I
Oh,
feel like I'm getting old because I play recreational sports and I get hurt.
yeah. Was it something you were doing with other adults
Yeah.
or were
Uh
you
huh.
messing around with kids? Oh,
Oh yeah,
oh,
this is
that's
adult
fun.
kickball league, full on. Really a lot of fun. A lot of fun. But I slipped going around first and slid, and I was wearing shorts, and so I have this raspberry the size of a dinner plate on my backside and
Oh
my
my
front of my
God.
legs.
Oh, did you get this after you did the Marine Corps marathon or before?
After I
Okay.
yeah, I tweaked my shoulder before diving for a ball. Um, so yeah, it's a mess. It's the whole thing's a mess. I love it, but I don't know. It's definitely going to get in the way of my endurance sports stuff if I keep it up.
Right, right. I didn't know there was such a thing as a kickball league, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, right where I live, they have one. I think there's about 5 teams. A lot of fun. It's kind of like a beer league softball. Like I mean,
Hmm.
a lot of adults are drinking, um, but
Hmm.
it's just kind of. I guess it depends on the team who takes it seriously and who's out there just for funsies. So
Right, right. I mean, let's not take it too seriously.
we are playing kickball, a game for girls and boys.
That's right. That was actually one of my faves in grade school because I was uh, my legs were stronger than most kids. I was a good runner,
Yeah,
and so I was one of those people where sometimes they would say boys against girls or something, but then boys would want me on their team, that kind of thing. And
I
I remember just like wearing those jellies that were popular, those little weird little plastic shoes in the 80s,
remember those. Yeah.
and playing kickball in those and doing
Yes.
well. Doing well. I feel like
Kicking the
I'm with
hell out of
you.
the ball.
That's right. That's right. I feel like if I did it now, I'd have the same experience you're having, which is injury from a recreational league, softball or kickball.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I wanted to share something, which is that one of the reasons I'm not tired is I get up at 5 a.m. now every day instead of just like when I work out or recording days. I have like a
Hmm.
more set schedule. A guy I know had said he was having sleep issues, and they told him not only go to bed, around the same time every day, but get up the same time every day, even on the weekends. And so I started getting up at 5, and it's kind of forced me to go to bed earlier. Um,
Hmm.
Josh is also getting up early, so we've been like last night we were in bed. We got in our beds at like, I mean, 8:15.
Wow.
um, and I slept, and I feel so much better. It's really good. I still get up in the middle of the night. I still had to read a book in the middle of the night, but at least I'm in bed long enough that I get more sleep. Yeah.
That's so the big difference for you is it the getting up at the same time?
I think it's the getting up at the same time and the so going to sleep and getting up at the same time and giving myself that extra like 45 minutes to an hour in bed so that if I'm awake for an hour reading, I still have 8 hours to sleep.
I
Now,
get
I'm
it.
not getting 8 hours of sleep. I'm getting like 6.5 to 7 in a 9 hour
Hmm.
period. But when I give myself only 8 or 7.5, I was getting 5 hours of sleep, which isn't
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really stoked. Sometimes I don't have anything to do. I get up and I'm like, well, I don't have
Yeah.
shit to do, but
Yeah.
I'm figuring it out. So yeah, this is a win. So today we're going to get a race report from you, which I'm very excited to do. But first, I want to talk a little bit about Veterans Day and ask you how that was for you and if you did anything and all those
Uh-huh.
good things.
Yeah, it was a day of travel for me. I took the family out to New York for the weekend. We went and saw a couple Broadway shows.
Oh,
Hung
how
out with my
fun.
yeah, my went out with my dad and his wife and spent some time out there just exploring Manhattan, and it was a fun time. It was one of those times where I watched my kids have so much fun that
Hmm.
I had fun through that and through some of the activities. And at the end of it, I was definitely excited to come home. Um, I think
Hmm.
I like to visit big cities, but not stay there too long.
Yes, same, same. New York's very cool, but I've never been there and thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool to live here? I've never thought that. I've
Yeah,
always thought, this is great. I'm going to leave.
yeah, exactly. Exactly
Hmm.
my experience, and you know, it's definitely for some people, and for me,
Hmm.
I had a lot of decompression from all the hustle and bustle by
Hmm.
spending the day all day yesterday hunting and just being out
Hmm.
there in the marsh. It was nice.
Oh,
So
did you
yeah,
actually hunt yesterday?
uh huh, yeah,
Oh, cool.
yeah. Went duck hunting. Um,
Hmm.
but and then to answer your question though, so Veterans Day we're flying back, so we didn't do too much. Um,
Hmm.
I didn't go to any of the parades or any of the ceremonies or anything this year, and I usually don't. Um, I have before, but Veterans Day is usually like right in the middle of the anniversary of big battle I fought in Fallujah, and
Hmm.
so it's not as fun for me. It's more I think of it as that time rather than um,
Uh,
something to be excited about. So
just,
what I yeah. So it's okay, and I appreciate what everyone does for it. I really do. Um,
yeah.
what I did do was on the Friday before Veterans Day, my kids' school had a ceremony for it, and I was the guest speaker again this year. And so I
Oh,
spoke about um, what Veterans Day is and what a veteran is, and I spoke to the school about that, and it was a unique challenge to explain these things to kids that are anywhere from 5 to 12 years old. So
uh-huh.
I
Yeah,
wasn't telling
definitely.
war stories or anything like that, but
Right.
just explaining what it means to be selfless and what it means to be of
Hmm.
service, and then apply it to things they can do in their life. And
Hmm.
yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, that's a neat thing to be able to do, I think, for kids
Yeah.
to help them understand. And I like the idea of putting it in the context of like being selfless versus, this, I was in this war and this happened, that
Uh-huh.
happened. Not that that's a bad thing to share either, but, for kids to learn some lessons from what you went through is kind of a neat thing. Um, did you see, I saw in the news, not to get political, and I won't get political, but they have some flights that take veterans to DC and then they take them
Uh-huh.
around to, and did you see that Obama got on the flight uh,
Oh, I didn't
on
see
one of
that.
the yes, he came on one of the flights
No
and
kidding.
got over the PA system. And like when they landed, he came into one of the flights, got over the PA system, and thanked them for their service, and talked a little bit about that. A lot of older veterans, and
Wow.
did a whole thing and stood there and shook each one of their hands as they got off, and they were super excited about it. It was a
Wow.
really neat thing. Yeah, it was a cool thing to do.
That is so cool.
Hmm.
Yes, and what you're referring to, they call the honor flight, and so they were taking at first as World War II veterans, and now it's shifted the focus to the Vietnam veterans, and they
Hmm.
bring them to DC to see the war memorials, to see the wall where
Hmm.
all the names of the killed in action are, and
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
help them to grieve and
Hmm.
remember, and have that experience. I've talked to several vets who have done that, and it seems like such a powerful thing for them. Um,
Yeah.
and that was so
Yeah.
cool that President Obama got on and
Yeah. I highly recommend you
addressed
guys look it
everybody.
up on YouTube or whatnot, because it was filmed by somebody. I think somebody probably on the plane. It's not like the best footage, but it 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 was cute to see too how freaking stoked they were to meet him. You know,
Yeah,
like when he gets on
yeah,
and starts talking in the PA, they're like, "What?" And then he kind of steps out into the aisle, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's actually him!" And then
surprise. Yeah,
yeah, so they were all just very, very stoked to shake his hand, and so definitely recommend looking
that's
that
so
up.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's so
Mm-hmm.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a special thing. I'm glad our country does that too for vets.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting thing where I I am appreciative and though I'm a speaker and want to be in the spotlight, I've never been like uh, wanting. I don't crave the thank you for your service kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it, but I think it's really important for the Vietnam vets to get that because a lot of them had a pretty awful experience coming home.
Mm-hmm.
Where I mean, think of especially the people who got drafted who
Right.
weren't excited to be there, and they get back and they get blamed for a war they didn't even want to be part of.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's a tough
Yeah.
situation. So honor flight, great way of helping heal that too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like well, so what do you think about so one of the things I've noticed is this sort of like weird um patriotism associated with people in the military where we do stuff like at the beginning of the football game, we do this
Uh-huh.
whole song and dance. And I don't think it's a bad thing to obviously recognize people, but at the same time, it's almost like performative. From my
Hmm.
perspective, it's almost like performative. And in a way, I feel like it's not even really always that sincere. It's just sort of like, if you're a patriot, you will do this during the football game. And
Yeah.
people who are into more of like the thank you for your service type thing and not really recognizing like what people actually went through and really internalizing that
Yeah.
do that. So I just kind of wondered about your I mean, because I don't know, it's just like what it seems like to me. I don't actually have any, experience with that. But what do you think?
Yeah. I I think I'm on the same page as you, Lindsay, for that. And it's when my mind goes to this that when we talk to veterans, what we can do as a society is have different archetypes or stereotypes about them as either
Mm-hmm.
the hero that needs to be worshipped, the cold blooded killer who needs to be feared, or the broken person who needs pity. And
Mm-hmm.
when we do, when we stereotype or put people in these boxes, we don't see the actual person a lot of times.
Right.
And I've, yeah, it gets a little weird um, when we do these things because I I I, I personally think that service to country or family or the world is a good thing and that people benefit from doing that because they get to place themselves in a situation where they can give to others and
Mm-hmm.
provide for others and shoulder a burden so others don't have to. And it doesn't have to be military service, but I think military service is a good opportunity for that, and it was for me. Uh, but to to put these men and women in a box where we say, oh, they're all heroes, they all need to be elevated. Uh, I don't think it serves the purpose that maybe people think it does.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so because I mean, I feel strongly and appreciative of people who are teachers. I feel strongly and
Right.
appreciative of people who work in their community and like after school programs. You know,
Hmm.
military, I do too, and that's an extreme example because military, there's definitely a higher chance that you might be killed or might not come
Right.
home. So
Right.
it's the stakes are pretty high. But
Yeah.
I think when we do these things like at football games, maybe it puts on the idea that that is the only way to serve, or that this makes someone a better person somehow and
Hmm.
above others. And I can't quite succinctly say what I'm thinking, but it's along those lines.
I get it. I get it. And you know what I think about that sometimes is um, the same, and not all the people, but a lot of the people who are doing this sort of hero worship and standing up at the football games and being very vocal are also the same people that are voting to cut uh, like VA, services and things like that. And so, um,
Yeah.
if you really want to help a veteran, you know, let's provide the safety net that's there when they get back, because there are things that are traumatizing, and there are things that kind of break people, and or
Hmm.
have physical consequences for what they went through, and do need the support. And so, just from my way of thinking, it's like, who cares if you stand up and applaud if you don't want to actually support these people when they come back?
That I totally agree with you. And what I remember thinking and seeing and saying when I got home was when I got home from Iraq, it was 2005, and the war was starting to be pretty unpopular, and but there was still a big feeling of the support following the attacks in 9/11. And so a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people would have like support our troops bumper stickers.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do things like that, it's sometimes it becomes like, well, I did the bumper sticker thing, or I did the thank you for your service, and so that's all I need to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
seems like along the lines of what you're saying, in tangible ways. That's one of the things I spoke about at the school was 3 ways that we can show support for people who are veterans. Is one, for the kids, I said one is with our words. We can say things like welcome home or thank you for your service to people. We can use our ears to listen. So if
Mm-hmm.
somebody wants to talk, we're there to listen. And we can use our actions, and our actions of being of service ourselves to our community, or
Mm-hmm.
being a service to our school, or an organization that's greater than ourselves, or a
Yeah.
purpose that's greater than just our own self. And so
Yes.
those tangible ways of trying to show appreciation, I think, mean more.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Think the things that you fought to protect are important to participate in, because that was the whole freaking purpose that you guys were there, is to
Yeah,
protect uh,
yeah.
our freedom, but also all of the things that make up America. The comedian Louis C.K. has a uh, has a bit about. Have you heard his bit about how he's sitting in first class and here comes someone from the military, and they're dressed in their military. I want to call it outfit. I don't know what the term is that you guys do. So I'm pretty sure it's not.
Uniform, yeah.
Just uniform. Thank you. I'm like, outfit cannot be right. Um, but and he thinks, as this guy comes down here, I want to thank him for his service by uh, giving him my seat, and then I can go sit back and coach. Where he would sit, and this is a great way to thank him for his service. And he says, and in his mind, he's like, God, I'm a really good guy. I'm a really good guy. As he lets the dude walk by and go back into coach, you know what I mean? Just because he had, it's like, I had the thought that I was going to give this guy
This-
my seat. It makes
yeah,
me a great
yeah.
guy. Yeah. So there's a lot
It's
of that
hilarious.
going
Yeah,
around. But
yeah,
well,
exactly.
I'm glad you got
I
to.
love that.
Um, I'm glad you got to hunt and spend some decompression time yesterday, and that's really, or actually on Veterans Day.
Yeah.
Uh, that's uh, that's really good. But what we're really here to talk about is about a race report from the Marine
Hmm.
Corps Marathon, which you did a couple of
Yeah.
weeks ago. And I saw pictures. And if you guys don't follow Mike on social media, I highly recommend it. You'll see a lot of cool pictures. You'll see thoughts and things about, stuff like anniversaries of Fallujah. But so I saw pictures. You look like you were having fun. What was
Yes.
it like?
It was great. And going into it, I'll say this: it is the least trained I've ever been for an event.
I wondered
Um,
about that.
yeah,
Because
because
you,
I mean, I was training up since the spring, um, and then I got hurt playing kickball, which was so embarrassing. I hurt my shoulder so bad diving for a ball, and so I took about with that and pulling my back out. Oh my god, I sound like I'm an old person. I took about 3 weeks off during my peak phase,
ah,
and flying out there. It was funny. Sarah goes, "Are you gonna survive this?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll, I'll survive this. I'll get it
one way
out."
or
And
another.
I was thinking of ways to back out. Trust me, I was going through it. Um, I went out there and just being around all the other veterans who were running with Team Semper Fi, part of the
Mhm.
Semper Fi Fund, who flew us out there and provided the race registration and this wonderful experience at the hotel there. We had dinners together. We had trivia night. We had a bingo night. We had just these group events to
Mm.
meet other people there and uh, hear these inspiring talks from people who were there racing with us was so cool. There was no way I wasn't going to run that race. And plus,
Right.
the whole reason I was going to do it is me and three other guys signed up to do it to carry the flag for a guy in our platoon, Bradley Faircloth, who was killed in action in Fallujah when we were deployed there. And I just said, they're going to have to pull me off this race course. You
Hmm.
know, I'm not going to give up. And I was like, well, let's see how it goes. I've done this before. So mentally, I just had to get my mind right. Physically, what I figured was there's events you can, when you're trained for something, my measure of success is that it doesn't hurt as bad the next day,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so the better trained you are, the less it's going to have you hobbling around
Mm.
afterwards. And we weren't going to set any kind of course record. We were sticking to run somewhere between, a 10:30 to a 12-minute mile and
Okay.
pass the flag off every mile. And so we did that. Um, so the interesting thing about the marathon that most people probably know, but I didn't factor in as much and didn't factor in the implications as much, is that as opposed to Ironman, which is my experience of doing marathons, everybody starts out at the beginning of the run together. There's 40,000 people.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so
That's a
40,000
lot.
people get together. Yeah, it's a lot of people. And we had, like layers of sweats on before because it was
Hmm.
about, I think it was like 40 degrees, so it was a little cool.
Hmm.
And then we shed the layers and they donate all the clothes to, I think, the Goodwill or homeless shelters.
Ah.
The race is really unique because a lot of the volunteers working the stations, I don't know. Well, I guess they're not volunteers, but a lot of the people working the course too are young lieutenants, people who just graduated officer candidate school. And so they're
Oh, neat.
newly commissioned lieutenants in the Marine Corps, passing out water, working the aid stations, cheering people on.
Oh, that's
And it was really cool. It was really cool. And just the positive vibes were there at the beginning of the race. We,
hmm
we had the opportunity, people ask us, like, you're carrying a flag with a streamer. What does this mean? And so we got to explain, hey, this is for our buddy who didn't make it back. And we're just honoring his life and what he gave for this country and keeping his name alive. And so we started out, and it's crowded, so we're running slow, and that was the biggest, one of the biggest, I don't want to say hassles, but obstacles, is that the first few miles it's just kind of shuffling. You're just trying not to
Yep.
run into people,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, uh,
Yep.
the other thing I didn't factor in until the night before was um, the aid stations that have nutrition aren't until mile 14,
Ah.
right? So they have water stations, but
Yeah.
so I scrambled to get some, energy gels and stuff like that right before the race.
Oh. Did you get a good
Um,
breakfast going at least?
I think I had like a banana,
Oh, dang.
um, maybe part of a bagel, but yeah, I didn't want to have anything too heavy. My pre-race thing is usually a banana with peanut butter, so that was set.
Okay.
Um, what I did on the course though was it made sure that I was taking in, roughly like 30 grams of carbohydrate per an hour.
Hmm.
Um, just kind of ballparking it. And the, what was really cool was the crowd energy at that
Mm.
race was so intense.
Yeah.
And I get it, because my experience being Ironman, there's what, like 3,000 athletes,
Yeah.
something
Something
like
like that.
that. Yeah, a
And
few
they're so
thousand
spread
athletes.
out.
They're so spread out, and so their supporters are so spread out,
Hmm.
right? But if you have 40,000 people, there's usually at least one supporter per person.
Right. Right. They're
Not,
just,
not, yeah,
well, I would think that you would just have people the whole course standing on the
yeah.
sides. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So there was stretches where there was, no one yelling and clapping, but there were so many
Hmm.
places along the course where people had funny signs like "You're running better than the government right now," or "Tap here for a power up," and things like that.
That's cool.
Um, yeah, so there's so many, and everyone's was so positive. Um, it was great, and so we had a great time. And when you get to mile 13 on the Marine Corps Marathon, they have this in other races, but it's a big feature here. They have what they call the Blue Mile, and the
Oh.
Blue Mile at mile 13 is where they have pictures of fallen service members lining the
Oh.
course. So on each side, there's a picture of a fallen service member, and we found our guy Bradley.
Ah.
We found his picture, and we took a picture by it, and with our flag and the name and everything, and send
Oh,
it to his
that's neat.
mom. Yeah, it was really cool.
That's really neat.
And
And you're it's a nice pause right there, because you're
yeah,
halfway through pretty much, and being able to pause and think about someone else probably help the second half of the race be a little less painful than if you were just running it and not thinking about anybody.
yeah, exactly. And I that's the thing about me for racing is like I need a big purpose to do it. I need a really strong why.
Hmm.
And I like running. I love it. Um, but to train for something, I need a why. I need something to really rev me up. And so
Yeah.
when the miles aren't as fun, right, from like
Yeah.
14 to 26, that I'm like, of course, this is why I'm doing it. This is why this discomfort or this suffering is worth it
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
this.
Yeah, we've talked about
And
having a why and how important it
uh
is. And I used to be able to race without really having it, just sort of having it be a personal thing. Like I've always wanted to do XYZ, I'm going to do it. But that doesn't really help during those moments of those dark moments on the race course, because then the whole personal goal of like, if that's the only thing you can think about is like, I just wanted to do this, it's easy for my brain to be like, well, we're changed our mind. We don't want to do this, and so having a
Right,
why
right.
definitely helps. Yeah.
If it's as fickle as my emotional state, that can change.
Right. Right.
And so having a broader why helps. And so we finished the Blue Mile, right? Um, and we get to mile 14 where they have the aid station. And so I said,
Mm.
great, now I can get the course nutrition. Well, they were out.
Oh no. Oh no.
So I said, oh shit, here we go. And so um, I think my friend Evan, he was carrying the flag at that point. So I got resourceful and I started looking on the ground for these nutrition packets that maybe people picked up but just discarded. And I found three
Oh
because
wow.
by that point, one of our guys, he was like a 8:30 or 9 minute miler. And
Uh-huh.
he stayed with us for the first, uh, I think 9 or 10 miles. And I looked at him, I was like, dude, just go, man. You're feeling it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
We got the flag. You carried it already. You're good. And so he took off. And so there are three of us carrying the flag now. And so I found three nutrition things on the ground, that were unopened. And I said, here we go. Let's go. Um, and so we got that going. And that was important because obviously, we're crashing, hit the wall.
Mhm.
Along the course, it goes all over Virginia and Washington, D.C.
Mhm.
And it starts out right at the Pentagon. You go through, I don't know if it's Alexandria or Arlington, I think.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and then eventually you work your way into the mall where the monuments are.
Okay. Yep.
And we run by the Capitol. And that was, that was really cool.
Yeah.
There's just, again, so many people out there. They had high school marching bands playing. They had the Marine Corps band playing.
Oh, that's
And all my
neat.
friends were like, yeah, my friends were like, hey, Mike, it's your people there. Because I started out in the Marine Corps band before I switched over to the infantry. And
I didn't wait, hold on. Pause.
yeah, yeah.
I did not realize that. And you must be a very good musician because I know people who were just musicians who were in the Marine Corps band, and it was a big deal for them to go in and do this. And
Uh-huh.
um, the couple I'm thinking of, they went in as a couple. Um, they were like jazz musicians before they got into the Marine Corps
Yeah.
band. And they were saying they did have to go through boot camp, and it
Uh-huh.
wasn't, you know, something that they were into really because they were like, actually, I just play the saxophone or whatever it was. But
Yeah.
yeah, what did you play?
Saxophone. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. I played the saxophone. So the way you get in there is you do in addition, they have a musical recruiter who comes around who they have a couple, like one for the East Coast and one for the West Coast. And at the recruiting stations, for each branch, they'll have a musician that does an audition for people. And so I passed the audition because I did all the bands in high school. I did the jazz band, marching band, symphonic band, pep band, um, all that stuff.
wow. Did you go to band camp?
Oh, I went to band camp every year. Loved it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
So you didn't have any real
mm,
like I'm going to go into the infantry and go to Iraq, and that wasn't really in your mind. You were more
no, I joined before November, or excuse me, I joined before September 11th
ah,
of 2001. So then my spring, as soon as I turned 18, I enlisted in the delayed entry program, which means you enlist, but you go after you finish high school. So for
uh-huh.
me, I decided not to graduate high school. I
Ah,
was going through some stuff at the time, so I failed a couple classes. I had to do summer school, so I ended up leaving for boot camp in October of 2001, right after 9/11. And then after
yeah.
9/11 happened, I started having all these thoughts of, well, I just, I don't know if I can be stateside and playing in parades and stuff while people are overseas fighting. in a war, and so I switched over to the infantry.
Hmm.
I felt, for me, it felt like my place was with the infantry, not with the band at that point. And so I
Yeah.
made the switch, and they allowed
Neat.
me to, which is I was happy for.
I have a little funny story about that couple that was in the
Yeah.
band, which is they were at the White House during this is long. I mean, this was during the Clinton administration. So
Uh-huh.
they, the husband and whoever was standing on one side, and then the wife and her people, her band people, were standing on the other side of the sort of like hallway. They made sort of a walkway, and Clinton was coming down, shaking each person's hand, and they said, uh, he's very charismatic and good looking in person, and he was,
Hmm.
and a little bit of a womanizer, and
Slightly. Yeah.
he the wife in this situation was very pretty, platinum blonde hair girl, and just they were in their late 20s and or maybe mid 20s at the time, and Clinton paused, and was holding her hand for like longer than he'd been holding other people's hands. And husband said he looks across, and his wife has this goofy smile on her face, like, oh my God, and he's holding her hand, and he said he was just like, get off my freaking wife, but he had to just stay. He's like, you can't run across the room when you're in the Marine Corps band and introduce yourself and push him away from your wife. So he just had to stand there and take
Hilarious. Yeah.
it.
Plus is plus is the president, so you guys
Right. You
security
can't
detail
run
and
at him.
everything. Hey, bro,
Exactly.
Mr. President, bro, come on, leave my
Get off
wife
my
alone.
wife. Yeah, exactly. You want to go? You want to take this outside?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
that's hilarious.
mhm, mhm.
But yeah, we saw the band's playing, and we went right by the Capitol. We stopped and took pictures right in front of the Capitol.
Mhm.
Did my best to take pictures while we were running. That was a new experience too, because I wasn't used to having a phone or a camera on the course,
Yeah.
but I did. So I think some people were listening to music. I just wasn't going to do that because I had my guys there to talk to. And,
Mhm.
um, I could, I knew. So one of our guys, he had never run a marathon before. So in mentally, he had that, which we all do, of the unknown distance. Like, can I make it?
Yeah.
And so he was a little afraid, and I won't say afraid, but he was nervous. I think that he wasn't. What if he doesn't make it? And I kept
Right.
saying,
Right.
dude, just decide you're not going to quit, and then it's really simple. You just keep going.
Mhm.
Um, and I said, you've been through things that are harder than this. Trust me. Uh,
Right. Right.
so,
Yeah, definitely.
and then one of our other guys, he probably wasn't taking in enough nutrition, so he started to slow down around probably like mile 18,
Yeah.
and so by mile 20, we had to stop for a bathroom break for him. Um, and then you're waiting in line for a little while. So we
Mhm.
kind of, our legs kind of stiffened up, and then mile
Ugh.
20 comes around, and we're not limping, but we're not at, the starting line, physique and
Right.
phase anymore.
Yeah.
And he was just hitting the wall, and there's no way around it. And so,
Mhm.
I was getting extra nutrition for him. I was kind of coaching him through, you need to eat a little more, drink a little more, have a little more electrolytes.
Mhm.
And so we're doing that. And then we turned it into like a run walk.
Uh-huh.
We'd pick a target. We're going to run to that and then walk for a little while to that next light pole. And then we're going to run for a little bit. And by run, it was like a slow jog. And so, you know, we were estimating, we'd finish around 5 hours.
Hmm.
Turned out to be around a little under 6 hours that we finished. So,
Okay.
um, one of the cool
That's not
things is
bad.
that,
That's not bad.
yeah, yeah. And the other part of that mental hurdle was, not being like married to a specific time. I was like, as long as we
Yeah.
finish in under 7.5 hours, I think it is, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna get the same medal. We're gonna
Right.
cross the same finish line. It's gonna be great. It's not gonna be a problem. And so we continued our run walk. Met some people along the course who asked us about the flag and about our friend, and we got to talk about that. And I was like, dude, this is the whole point, man. We get more of a chance to do it. I said, plus, we're getting our money's worth. We get to run the race for longer than the other people.
Right. That's awesome. Um,
So yeah.
so are people who are not in the military or weren't in the military running this as well?
Uh huh. Yeah.
Okay, so people just can come sign up for
Yeah.
it and run it. Hmm.
Uh huh. Yeah. It's a lot of civilians, a lot of people who have never served or run the race, and I think it's open to anybody who wants to sign up to it.
I could
And
see
that
putting that
was
on my bucket list.
it's such a
It's-
great marathon. It is.
And
I mean,
and
the
when I lived in
scenery,
that
the
area,
energy.
I
Yeah.
was not doing my I was not things weren't going well when I lived out
Yeah.
there, you know.
Yeah.
And so it'd be kind of a healing process, besides the energy
Oh
of
yeah.
all of the people and the veterans and the people in service, just running through the actual like terrain that you're going through, and the seeing all this stuff would be kind of a cool thing for me, because I saw a lot of it, while I was going through a divorce and drinking Chardonnay, and it
Yeah.
wasn't really my best. So,
I really think it would be for you, Lindsay, because the same way that we met was when you posted about your race report about Ironman Santa Rosa, going from someone who's kind of chained to the alcohol like I was to running a freaking Ironman through wine country, being
yeah,
unshackled from alcohol.
yeah, that's definitely. I'm going to put it on my list. I haven't run a marathon in a long time. I've run a couple, but a trail one I did, and then I did the Big Sur Marathon, which is
Nice.
it it they close Highway 1 and they just drive you way out to Big Sur, and then you run back to Carmel is basically what happens.
Uh-huh.
And so you run along, you can see the ocean, there's no cars, there's a lot of there's actually some people out there. It takes a while for you to get to where there are people, but there are some people out there. Mile, I want to say 13 or 14, they have these drummers. They're like, I think they're Polynesian drummers. They have these huge drums and they're playing, and it's a cool thing to, it kind of gives you a little boost, like you're talking
Uh-huh.
about that
Yeah.
mile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so that's cool. But in general, it's a little bit of a lonely race because it's so many hills. It's just
Yeah.
this big rollers. People string way out, and there's because the road is closed, people can't. There's a lot of space where no one can get to the road, except for the handful of people that live in Big Sur. There's like five of them.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Exactly.
um, there's a lot of time for you to just be alone with yourself. And
Uh-huh.
I ran with a pacer, and which was great. And I had some music playing, but I just stayed with a group that was, I think, 10-minute miles. And at the end of, I was in really good shape and I was much younger than I am now. At the last, before the last mile, she just looked at me and was like, "You haven't breathed hard this whole race. You need to pick it up and just run in as fast as you can." And so that's what I did. And it felt great. It was not a fast, by any stretch of the imagination, it was not a fast race for me, but I felt like, because there was a headwind the whole way, uh, and uh,
Yeah.
and all
That
those
makes it
hills,
tough.
it was like, in fact, the next day in the newspaper it said, "Windiest Big Sur Marathon in you know memory."
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but it was cool. It's different than doing an Ironman marathon. Definitely
Uh-huh.
different. There's people out there that are running really fast, and then, but I'll
Yeah.
just say there were guys that kind of, I don't know how they got towards the back of the group like that, because they were clearly like younger guys that were going to run faster. But the first 5 miles are net downhill, and then it's these big rollers, and it's kind of, you're kind of climbing up. But at mile, like, I think it's 22, 23, you hit maybe a little bit before that, but you hit the Highlands, and it's just these steep pitches. It's the steepest part of the race. Is that like late in the race,
Yeah.
and these guys blew past us, and the pacer was like, "Oh, we're going to see them again in the Highlands because you feel good net downhill. You feel like you're all good,
Yeah.
and then you do the rollers, and then by the time they get to the Highlands, they're like, so." I was like, "Oh, okay. I mean, I don't think we're going to see these guys. They're like in their 20s and seem young." So we hit the Highlands and there's a bridge, and all of them were standing on the bridge, like with their legs, like trying to like pound their legs out and stretch and whatever. And we just came
Yeah.
on by
Yeah.
with our like 10-minute mile.
Exactly. That's we saw a lot of
That's
that in the course too. Um, the Marine Corps Marathon, the last quarter mile maybe is all uphill,
oh,
and
okay.
so
Oh.
yeah, it's in true Marine Corps fashion. They make you earn the last part, and for sure, and came across the finish line and just happy. I just it was a cool experience for me,
Mm-hmm.
for myself to finish it. But what I really loved was doing it with my guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, four of us and then three at the end, staying together and running the same pace. That's difficult because we didn't train together. We trained separately
Right.
across the country, from Georgia to Texas and Louisiana to Florida, and then me out here in California. So we were like, all right, this is our goal pace to stay together, and we're going to do our best, but you do what you can. So that was a
Mm-hmm.
huge feat. And then for me to see my friend, also named Mike, finish his first marathon, I was just so proud of him. Just so happy for him to do that, because Brad was one of his best friends too. And so we made sure
Oh,
he carried the
oh,
flag across the finish line. I was like, "You're carrying this flag across the finish line, brother." And
oh, that's cool.
yeah, yeah, because carrying the flag for me has been a solo adventure for the most part, and to be able
Mm-hmm.
to share that with my brothers was absolutely amazing, fantastic. Felt great that it was a team thing that we did, not just
Mm-hmm.
the Mike Ergo show of carrying the flag by himself. So that
Right.
was
Right.
great. Yeah, and then at the end, Team Semper Fi had their own tent, so all of the Team Semper Fi athletes, they had food for us, and they had
Oh,
it
that's
was
nice.
yeah, they have a lot of the Marine Corps Marathon supports a lot of charities, a lot of veteran and
Mm-hmm.
military charities, and so Team Semper Fi being one of them, we're Semper Fi in the America's Fund. So
Okay.
we had our own thing. They had people giving massages. It was a long line, so I didn't get one, but we had food, we had water, and then yeah, then we
That's
had
nice.
our own shuttle back, which was amazing in itself, because think of organizing 40,000 people to get to a start line and then to get
Right.
to their hotel or home from the finish line is a pretty big feat. So the fact that we had our own
Yeah.
shuttle back to our hotel was,
Yeah,
luxury,
yeah, that's
complete luxury.
absolutely. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, with Big Sur, they put you on a school bus at like
Uh-huh.
3:30 in the morning because they need to get you all the way out there, and then they need to get the
Yeah.
half marathon people out there. And so just a school bus at 3:30 in the morning, and then you sit in the cold and wind by this little tent that has
Yeah.
coffee until you start at like 7 in the morning. So to have like a nice cozy shuttle and food at the end, that's something that I'm slow, so like I miss the food. Like Ironman, there was nothing left when I was done. They were
Yeah.
like, it's late. They're like, just go back to your hotel room. That was kind of
Yeah.
the message there.
Yeah.
But um, what a neat experience. I'm really glad that you got out there and did it, and that you didn't throw in the towel, even though you weren't as trained as you'd like to be. That's really good. Congrats.
I thank you. Thank you. I felt fortunate, and that I was able to finish it, and, not let the other guys down. And I felt fortunate
Mhm.
that my body was able to perform that feat
Mhm.
with way less than ideal training. I think my longest training run it was either 13 or 15 miles.
Mhm.
But that was at the beginning of my peak phase, and then I got hurt and didn't work out for I just basically
Mm.
walked for about 3 weeks. So
Right, right.
plan on
Well,
doing it next year. Plan on getting Brad's mom out there to the race so she can be part of it and carry the flag for him again with the same guys and maybe more if we can get more guys into it.
oh, that's
Um,
really neat. Okay, cool. That's really
yeah,
cool. What a neat
yeah,
thing for her to go do it too.
yeah.
Well, um, today is a day that I am the secretary of my meeting. And so I have to wrap it up so that I can get there on time and do my service to my community, which is what I need to do to have, you know, a sane life myself. Um,
Yeah.
and, so I appreciate your race report, and I appreciate the conversation we had about at the top of the show about, you know, appreciating veterans and those in service. I think that's useful information for those of us who don't really know necessarily what to do or how to show appreciation. So I think that
Mhm.
that was important and key for us to hear. Any last words before we wrap it up?
Hmm. I think that again, if there's something that our listeners are looking at, like an event, because we talk about a lot about races
Hmm.
and athletic events. If there's an event you're looking at that kind of scares you a little bit, I'd say sign up for it and have something to
Mm.
train for and find a why and
Yep.
commit to a training plan and do it. Push yourself a little bit. And the experience that you'll have will be amazing because you'll be pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. You'll be meeting new people. You'll be trying something. You will extend the limit of what your mind understands as the possibilities of what you can do. And
Yeah.
that'll go out to all aspects of your life, not just running or
Yeah.
triathlon. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, with that great advice, I think we'll end it there. Folks, if you want to support the show, please share the link to this episode or any episode that you liked with a friend, and encourage them to listen and subscribe and like on whatever podcast app that you use. And we will see you next week.
All right. See ya.
Bye. Thanks, Mike.